Aloha, Ukulele on the Ground is Aldrin Guerrero, and welcome to Ukulele on the Ground University, or UUU, and this is Ukulele 101, week number 4. So, we're going to be covering right hand techniques on week number 4. Once again, I am your head instructor, Aldrin Guerrero. I am joined by Mr. Aaron, the voice Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
And also Mr. Kahai Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
So Aaron and Kahai are going to be, putting in their 2 cents, helping me out with this with their own opinions as well. So I wrote this out. I'm going to be teaching it to you folks, but I'm going to be consulting with them every now and then. And we do have a live chat because we are recording this live. So all of you who have questions or anything like that regarding the lessons, please let us know and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. We're going to be stopping after every section of this lesson and we're going to be going over that section. And if you guys have any questions, that's kind of the best time to ask them. But if anything, if there's something you guys want me to repeat or anything at all, please let me know in the live chat. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us here at Ukulele 101 week number 4. Let's get started. Today we're covering right hand technique. So last week, we were talking about timing and we're doing this down, up strum. Let's take a look at what we did last week. So last week we did, sorry about that. Last week we did quarter notes and eighth notes. So that's what I'm talking about, the down, up strum. So the quarter notes is just that down, 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 down. So we had this kind of imaginary pie and, we did quarter notes. So we broke down each measure into 4 beats, so quarter notes, and then we broke them down even more. So that 4-piece pie became an 8-piece pie, and that's when the down, up happens, okay? So if you want to brush up on that, it is available over on Ukulele Underground Plus. If you want to watch Ukulele 101 week number 3 again or any of the other weeks, it is available on ukuleleunderground.com. All right. So we also covered hand moving but not playing. So that means we missed some of the notes because just doing down up consistently might sound a little bit monotonous and kind of boring. So what we did is we kind of mixed it up. We missed some. We made it a little bit more rhythmic. Yeah, we added some intricate rhythm patterns there by taking out some. And strategically taking out some of the strumming patterns. So if you haven't seen that yet, check it out. And then we also made up our own strumming patterns, which was a lot of fun. Okay, so there we go. So for today, we're going to be doing. Rolls. All right. So whenever you, I don't know if you guys have seen any of our song lessons, but on our song lessons, whenever we give out a strumming pattern, sometimes we do rolls. So we say like roll up, down, roll up, down, up. And that's exactly what roll is. We're just rolling our fingers through the strings. We're going to be teaching you that today. We're also going to be going over finger picking. So anytime you hear somebody do one of these, so instead of strumming the ukulele, we can finger pick it, just like a piano. So we're going to be going over that as well. And we're going to give you a couple of new chords to practice. We're pretty much still in the same key of C. We're going to be going over a couple of new chords today. And I'm going to give you some more homework so that you guys can practice at home. Okay? So let's, any questions so far?
I don't think there's questions from our UU Plus chat.
Okay, cool. So as far as rolls goes, so this is what we're going to do. PRMP. Remember that, PRMP. What that is pinky, ring, middle, pointer. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer. So this is what we're going to be doing. You're going to take your thumb, okay? And you're going to take your the 4 fingers that you have, and you're going to place the thumb over the nails of your 4 fingers like so. Okay? And what you're going to do is release them one at a time. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer. So you feel that little bit of resistance with your thumb. Okay, so your thumb is going to go there. It's going to build a little bit of resistance, and you're going to pull them out one by one. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer. One more time. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer. One more time again. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer. And you just want to do this one at a time. Kind of get faster. Slowly get faster. Faster and faster. One by one. Okay? So now that you have this kind of movements, you want it to be as fast so that it's almost like it's coming out at the same time, but it's like staggered, like so. Okay, remember last week we talked about the 8 pieces of pie, the 8th notes? So one of these rolls is going to be an 8th note. So remember our down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. These rolls are going to be substituted for one of our down strums. Why? Because rolls in this this particular thing, it's going to be on a down strum. You can do up rolls, but we're going to be saving that for, for the later lessons that we have here. So rolls, when you're doing that, what I want you to take your fist that you made with your thumb like this. I want you to look at your nails, to face your palm towards you, and then release it, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, like so. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn that to our ukulele. When we release pinky, ring, middle, pointer, I want you to slowly turn your wrist like this. So it goes pinky, ring, middle, pointer. See where like my wrist ends up? Pinky, ring, middle, pointer. See, my wrist is slowly doing this turn, going from looking at my nails to down there on the ground like so. And it's just a turn of the wrist. I'm not moving my my whole arm up and down. It's a turn of the wrist. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer, and it's going to be turning a little bit like so. So that if we were to take our left hand, excuse me, place it over the strings like this, and just kind of flick those fingers onto our strings like so. Okay? So you want it kind of staggered. All right, now I want you to imagine that same feel of your thumb, the resistance of your thumb, but this time take your thumb away. Okay? And loosen up those fingers, so we're not making a fist anymore. Loosen up those fingers, but I want you to have the same, as if your thumb was still there for the resistance. I want you to give the same amounts of pressure when you take out pinky, ring, middle, pointers. That PRMP. So it goes like this. So from looking at my nails, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, and I end up right here and I see my wrist twist. So just do that really slowly. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure to twist your wrist like so. Let's get faster. So it's all in control. Now I want you to look at your nails and drag them all down. So what makes the roll work and what makes your fingers roll through your strings are your fingernails. So your fingernails are nice and slippery, and because we have nylon strings on our ukulele, the nail will just kind of slide through the nylon like so. So I'm going from looking at my nails, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, and down here. So, like so. Okay? Or another visual, like it, as if you were to kind of dust things off your shoulder. If you're trying to dust off your shoulder like this, you're not, you want to do pinky, ring, middle, pointer. If you want to dust your shoulder off, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, same thing. It's kind of just that same movement. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer, down. So from looking at your nails to pointing down on the ground. Because why? That's kind of our form when we do the strum. The strum is pointing down to the ground and pointing up to yourself, right? So it's starting off from that pointing up to yourself. So you're actually looking at your nails and you're ending down with pointing down to the ground. And that makes sense for our eighth notes because our eighth note only lasts half a beat. So we have that up strum. So what we want to do is we want to follow through with the up strum. So from the going down to up. So down, up, roll up, roll up. So 1, 2, ready, go, roll up, ready, go, roll up, 2, ready, go, roll up, 2, ready, go, roll up, 2, ready, go, roll up. Okay, and you want to imagine a wave. So just like a wave, picture a wave forming. So when you do your release, it's like a wave starting to form. Have you guys been to Hawaii before? So Hawaii, when when you're thinking about surfers, or California, anywhere there's waves really, you want that wave to kind of curl. So watch my pinky finger as it goes up. It's going to be followed by my ring finger, middle finger, and pointer finger, like so. And that's kind of how you're going to stagger your fingers. So it's not like doing it one at a time. This is just kind of an exercise to help build strength on those fingers. But once you have them loose, what you want to do is do pinky, ring, middle, pointer, but kind of one at a time like a wave. It's going to follow each other. And using your nails on your nylon strings, it's going to slide right through or roll right through your strings like so. And it's as if you're trying to, dust off your ukulele like this. Okay, so in order for you to practice it, I would like for you guys to do quarter notes. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. But this time we're going to do a roll on 1. So roll, 2, 3, 4, roll, 2, 3, 4, roll, 2, 3, 4, roll, 2, 3, 4, roll, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Try to practice it as slow and as fast as you can. So slow, try to drag it out as slowly as you can, like so. And I want you to get faster. Until it kind of sounds like one strum. Okay? So the follow-up practice to that would be an 8th note strum. So down, up, down, up, down, up. Once again, beat 1 being the roll. So roll up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, I'll do this slow. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and roll and 2 and 3 and 4 and roll and 2 and 3 and 4 and roll and 2 and 3 and 4 and roll. Okay, so these are practices that you can do at home. You can do quarter note roll practices, just doing quarter note down strums, or you can do an 8th note down strums, and also try to do it as slow, then gain some speed as you as you start getting more comfortable with the roll. But I want you to picture that wave. So this is that kind of wave looking. So if you were to look at my fingers like this, that's what it looks like. Notice how my other fingers are kind of following my pinky finger. So as my pinky finger is going up, the rest of my fingers are following it, and it goes so like this. Kind of like lovely hula hands, almost, lovely hula hands. So if you were to do this, maybe this is another good, good exercise for you folks. So, but watch it follow the rest of my fingers. So this is like that kind of halfway point. So as my pinky finger is fully extended out, it's followed by the rest of the fingers going up. So just because my pinky finger hasn't reached the full extension yet, that doesn't mean my ring finger is just going to stay on standby. That ring finger is going to follow through with the pinky finger. So pinky, ring, middle, pointer. So that PRMP moves as a unit, but its leader is that pinky finger. So it goes like this. Like lovely hula hands. So from looking at your nails. Like a
stadium wave.
Yeah, like a stadium wave almost. Like a stadium wave. There it is. So looking at your nails to pointing down to the ground. So kind of get that same wave motion, but you're twisting your wrist. It's a nice twist of the wrist while you move your pinky, ring, middle, pointer down like so. Like this. See, notice my fingers are going out. My wrist is kind of turning. Okay? So that wrist should be, pretty natural by now. So if you've been doing down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up properly, and with the correct form, this roll and this kind of twisting of the wrist as you do the roll should come naturally. Okay. Just going from that up to the down strum, follow through with an up. So where people, where I see most people having a hard time with the roll is starting the roll with their, or not twisting the wrist on the roll. So when they do their roll, it's kind of like this, where like they just kind of force the roll to come out like so without the wrist twisting. So with that, because I mean, you're doing your down strum pointing yourself first, right, and then to the down strum pointing down to the ground. It's not your fingers are not pointing down to the ground and then strumming down to the ground again like this. That's not how we strum our ukulele. This is not how we do it. So, doing the roll like this, it's kind of like doing your strum like this, okay? So you don't want to do your strum this way. You don't want to do your roll this way either, okay? So you want to go from here down to your roll. Because although it's possible to do your roll like this, in order for that roll to be to come out as natural as the rest of your strumming patterns, say for example you have roll up, down, up, down, up, down, up, just like how we were practicing. If you did it this way, that's kind of what your fingers will look like. But if you do from here with the correct form, notice my wrist kind of just has that same pendulum feel, just like how we talked about last week. With that pendulum, you can't swing the pendulum twice to the left. Yeah, it has to go left and then back to the right, then back to the left and back to the right. So same thing with this, going down with the down strum like so. It has to end or it has to start from from the pendulum up here, then going down, back up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so any questions so far? That is how to do a roll and how to use it with your strumming patterns right now. So for those of you who did manage to create strumming patterns of your own, what you can do is you can substitute roll, or I like to put R as the down strum of your strumming pattern. So last week we talked about down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, right? That was one of our strumming patterns. So I'm going to substitute beat number 2. So down, roll up, down, up, down, up, down, roll up, down, up, down, up, down, roll up, down, up, down, up, down, roll up, down, up, down. Okay, so this whole pendulum feel with your right hand twisting is going to remain consistent. So that's why here at Ukulele Underground we teach the form this way, because we want that kind of pendulum feel with your with your right hand. So if you watch professional players like Jake and Calais and Matt and everyone that that's like a notable figure in the ukulele world has kind of a pendulum feel to their right hand. So because today is going to be right hand techniques, we want to be able to enforce all the correct forms in order for us to be doing all these things in our ukulele. Okay, any questions?
Alex said that he's getting better with stretching and practice,
yeah.
But his ring finger doesn't want to fully extend until his middle finger starts going out.
Yeah, because the two fingers are somehow connected, but you don't, like I was saying, you don't have to have it completely like completely extended out until you start your next one. So even if your ring finger doesn't want to extend without your middle finger, see if you can have it staggered or have both of them at the same time like this. So they're both kind of moving. Just one, my ring finger goes up first, but it's not extended. See, I'm just kind of pulsating my ring and middle finger like so. So now I'm going to pulsate all 3. Now I'm going to pulsate all 4, but still staggered. See how I have my my fingers are like this. So kind of like, imagine like stairs. So kind of like that. So if you were to lift up and have this kind of so try this exercise right here, so that your fingers know exactly where to extend, and then extend even further. So start from here and then move up as you can. So just kind of do this. So same pinky ring, middle pointer thing, but just stairs.
Yeah, as long as it's staggered.
Staggered,
then when
yeah.
you're twisting your wrist,
Yeah.
it's just gonna hit.
Yeah.
It's staggered anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not like you have to extend it
Yeah.
fully.
It's exactly what a roll is anyway. It's just like kind of a staggered strum. So in
Yeah.
order to get that
Yeah.
staggered strum, if we were to sorry, it's Kapaa town. You're gonna hear some sirens. We're gonna stagger our fingers. So if we have the same form, every time that staggered, that staggered strum. So I can just kind of stagger my finger like this and do a normal down strum. I'm gonna get kind of a small little roll. So what that kind of that movement that we showed you earlier just exaggerates that roll even further. So that exercise with your thumb is to strengthen out that particular movement so you get a nice loud sound. So by using this, it strengthens up your fingers. So that's why we taught this first to you, and then we did it without it. So once your fingers have gained the right amount of strength, you can do it without the thumb, and it'll come out as a nice roll. So just remember to stagger your fingers, and when you do the roll, just twist your wrist and fan out your fingers like so.
I think it's helpful to like to do that exercise with your thumb, because like a lot of people aren't used to like extending their pinky finger like out, right? Like,
Yeah.
fingers. Or like starting something with their pinky finger and then moving on to your pointer finger.
Yes.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
unnatural.
Okay, cool. No questions in that?
Is it the top of the nails that are hitting the strings?
Yes, it is the top of the nails. Like I said, the nails are going to be gliding or sliding through the nylon strings like so. So if we were to, look at it like this, so from here, here's like kind of my staggered, fingers already ready to go, and I'm just rolling my nails. So from the pinky, it's gonna roll through. So it's like the top of your nails. That's going to help it glide through the nails. I'll do it slow again. Notice the stairs right there at this kind of point. So my pinky finger has gone through. And see that twist of the wrist? And then follow it up with your upstrum. So and I want you to take a look at how consistent that wrist turn is for me. It's like a pendulum. Yeah.
Well, it looks like, I mean, it looks like the roll is just like you're starting off with your pinky finger, but your pointer finger looks exactly the same as your regular thumb. So
it's like leading in with that pinky finger, ending up same way. And that's why our forum here at Ukulele Underground is based on this simple concept of up, point to yourself, down, point to the ground. Because everything that we're going to be doing later on, the chunks and finger picking and flat picking, is all going to rely on the simple form of up, pointing to yourself, down, pointing down to the ground. So this is the basis of all of it. Because if you want to learn how to strum fast, how to do those really, really, really fast strumming, that's all it is. It's just that wrist movement moving, as twisting as fast as it can. It's not a lot of this movement. We're not guitar players, so we don't need to rely on our forearms so much, but it's all on the wrist. Okay?
the other thing with like not using your arm is like you're using your forearm to hold down the ukulele, like to hold it to your body. So if you're moving your arm, it's gonna fall out.
Yep.
I was just talking about that to somebody. And then like with the roll too, like you're when they're first starting out with like the roll, they really should like exaggerate that wrist movement. Like, and then like it seems like you can dial it back and it'll become like more natural, or like it won't become as pronounced. But when you start off, you really want that.
And there are many kinds of rolls. This is pretty much the easiest roll that we have, is just kind of following through, leading in with the pinky and doing the PRMP as far as the roll goes. So this is the 4-finger roll, because we're using 4 fingers to roll our fingers. We're going to be learning a lot of different rolls later on in Ukulele Underground, but for now we're going to start you off with this 4-finger roll. Okay? So let's move on. Now, it's time for finger picking. So just like I said, it's going to rely on that same kind of form that we have. So this this kind of locked in with your forearm and just moving the wrist is going to go with this with finger picking as well. So with finger picking, you're locking it right here with your forearm anyway, right? So what we're going to do is, instead of doing lifting up our wrist to strum, notice my wrist kind of protrudes out a little bit for this. Oh, like right here, like that. So in order for me to do the strum, what we're going to do is we're going to bring it, I'm going to lower my wrist down, and I'm going to take my pinky finger, and I'm going to use that as an anchor, like so. Yeah. So I'm going to anchor my pinky finger down on the soundboard. Okay? Now with my thumb, and what that does is it just kind of leaves my fingers steady. It locks it up so that I'm able to do finger picking and I'm able to move my fingers around without moving my wrist around, because we're doing so much of this wrist movement that if we do finger picking, we might run into being in an off position. Okay, so if we move our wrist even just a little bit, doing this finger picking is going to be a little bit off. So if we want to lock up so that we're in the same position every time, we want to take our pinky finger and just put it down like this so that it locks our hand position to the right place. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called just top to bottom. All right, so G, C, E, A. Let's take our thumb for now, and we'll do G, C, E, A. So this is technically finger picking. What finger picking is we're picking the individual strings, okay? We're not strumming, we're not playing them all at the same time. We're picking one string at a time. So as long as we're not playing chords, it's technically called finger picking. So you're picking out the notes. Okay? So here's a little tip for finger picking. When you finger pick, you're gonna take, say, for example, your thumb, and you're gonna pluck down, and you're gonna touch the next string. This is called a rest stroke. So you're gonna stroke the string and rest it on the string underneath. Okay, because I don't want to see you guys doing this where like you're plucking it out and this thumb is up here. Why? Because I want to see your thumb ready for the next note, which is going to be C. You know, when you watch Jake or any of the professionals play, you don't see them doing, you know, like plucking out their strings like this. It doesn't, you know, it just doesn't make sense because you're taking your wrist and your hand away from there. You want it nice, consistent, and kind of sticking close to where they're supposed to be. Okay? So let's play our C chord, F chord, and G chord to that. So let's do G, C, E, A, G, C, E, A, G, C, E, A, G, C, E, A. All right? Now, we're going to use our pointer finger as well. So same thing, pinky finger will go down, kind of locking our position here. We're going to use our thumb for G and C, pointer finger for E and A. So for E and A, same thing with your G. Or sorry, not your G, your thumb. So when your thumb picks that G string, it rests on that C string. So this time, when we play our E string with our pointer finger, you want to rest it on that C string, or at least keep it kind of close. If you don't want to rest it, if you feel like it's a bit difficult and you might want to, you know, and it causes you to strum or to pick that C string, just keep it close. I just don't want to see this going up here like this, you know? So it goes G, C, E, A. See how kind of close I'm doing it? Now F, G, back to C. All right, so that's G, C, E, A. Let's take a look at the board here once again. So we have G, C, E, A. We want to focus on getting a clean sound. All right, so as far as clean sound goes, we don't want to hear things like you know, your fingers touching your other your strings. You don't want it, you know, you don't want it to stop from ringing out. You want the whole note to ring out like so. You don't want to hear, you know. So make sure you're getting a nice clean sound, especially when you're switching chords. So it might not be trouble with your right hand, might be trouble with your left hand. It might sound like this. So I want it to come out clean. Okay. Next up, we want to focus on rhythm. So every time we play those notes, it has to be to a rhythm. So we've covered quarter notes, and we've covered eighth notes. So if we were doing 1, 2, 3, 4, this is our rhythm right here. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So because our thumb can pretty much handle just going down like so, going down like so, it's we don't need to use more than one finger. So for the slower finger picking stuff, you can get away with just using one finger. So the reason why we use multiple fingers is so that we can reach those notes a little bit better, a little bit faster. It makes it easier for us to play it. So instead of going, so for example, if I played eighth notes at 1, 2, 3, 4, be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and although I can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's a lot easier for me to just use two fingers. Why? Because I have them. Why not use them? You know, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So what you want to do is you want to practice it with quarter notes first to get the right feel for it. Notice my fingers are as close as I can. So even if I'm not doing rest strokes with my pointer finger stays pretty much close to the strings. Okay, so that's quarter notes and get faster. You want to do eighth notes. Let's do it with two fingers. All right. Now we can also use thumb, pointer, and middle finger. So these three right here. So how do we do that? We can designate fingers to certain strings. So thumb is going to be on G and C. Pointer finger is going to be on E. Middle finger is going to be on A. So it's going to look like this. But the trick here is to use that pinky finger so that everything is stable. If you were to do this, sure, it's it's possible, and you can do that without using your pinky finger to do to anchor down. But in order for your position to be locked, loaded, and ready to go, you don't have to worry about your wrists being out of place or your fingers being out of place. You can play these notes a lot cleanly if you use your pinky finger to anchor down on your fretboard like so. Okay, and that's just playing it faster. You can get more speed using more fingers. All right, but for me, this is just kind of like a personal thing. I don't really like to use more than 3 fingers. On some rare occasions, I'll use my ring finger. But because we only have 4 strings, you don't really need that pinky finger in there. And that's why we're using that as an anchor. And it's it's not unique to ukulele, but for ukulele, we can handle all 4 strings with just 4 fingers. So that allows us to keep one finger down to keep our fingers and hand position steady on our ukulele, all right? But for the most part, especially if you're playing a re-entrant ukulele, thumb, pointer, and middle finger will suffice. It's gonna cover up as much, maybe like a good 80-90% of all songs. And there's just that rare 10 to 20% of songs that will use 4 fingers to finger pick. But for the most part, I just like to use thumb, pointer, and middle.
You said re-entrant, just like...
Oh, yeah, sorry. So for re-entrant is a high G. So re-entrant tuning is high G.
Yeah, I just know that's going to be a
question.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Re-entrant is a high G tuning. So if you have a low G, then that might be the time, to use 4 fingers. But for the most part, even if low G tuning, it's just going to be these 3. Okay? Rarely do we use 4. But we do. I'm not saying that we don't, but it's rare, especially if you're playing, beginner to intermediate kind of music. Okay? So, any questions on finger picking so far, just top to bottom stuff?
With strumming, you strum over the fretboard, right? And then with finger picking, you actually want to bring it back, right?
Great point. So as far as strumming goes on Ukulele 100, if you guys haven't checked that out yet, it's over on Ukulele Underground Plus. On Ukulele 100, we went over the best position or the best place to strum your ukulele, and we we told you that it was right here. Pretty much the sweet spot of your ukulele is where like the body and the fretboard meet, like so, right here, where between where the sound hole is and where the fret meets the body, okay, or neck meets the body. But for finger picking, you want to go. Remember, like we had our wrists kind of protruded out like this, but we're gonna bring that wrist back, and we're also going to be bringing the whole thing back so we can position it over the sound hole, because over the sound hole is going to give us our best tone for finger picking. And then when you go back to strumming, you know, you're going to take this forearm back up and then do the strum. For finger picking, you're going to take this back down here, pinky finger going down, doing your finger picking. Okay? Any other questions?
I think most people get that, like they think you strum over the sound hole, and then they think that you finger pick over the sound hole, or you finger pick, you can finger pick higher up, but it's actually the other way around.
There was one question from the YouTube chat.
Yes.
And he was just asking if you were stroking down with your fingernail on the index finger.
You can, but you don't have to. For me, I don't really have nails on my pointer finger. It's not, you know, it's not long like my thumb is, for example. But it's, you know, it's just stroking it up. You can use your your nail, or you can just use the flesh of your pointer finger.
Yeah, so I think he thought that you were going down with your pointer.
Oh no. You're plucking up. So because the position of your finger picking pattern is going to be like this, okay? So we never strike or do a stroke down with our pointer, middle, ring, and pinky. If you're going to be using your pinky for some reason, we never stroke down on finger patterns. The only downstroke we're going to be doing is with our thumbs. The finger picking is going to be almost always upstrokes with pointer, middle, ring, and pinky finger. For finger picking. Yeah, for finger picking.
Yeah. So it actually, like it kind of uses that same thing with the roll, right? Like you're moving your fingers independently. Like you don't want it to kind of move all together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So next slide here. So more finger picking. This time we're going to show you one of my favorites finger picking patterns. It's going to be in to out picking. So in to out picking is we're going to be picking the inner strings and then picking the outer strings. So same thing, we're going to focus on getting a clean sound, we're going to focus on the rhythm, and we're going to use more fingers. So just like how we did with the GCEA, but this time we have a different finger picking pattern. So that's what those are. So the first one, top to bottom, is GCEA finger picking pattern. So this one, into out, is going to be a CEGA. So those are the notes that we're going to pick. So C, E, G, A. So I'm gonna take my thumb and I'm gonna designate it on the C string and the G string once again, pointer finger on the E string and A string. So it's going to be thumb, pointer, because it's going to be C, then E, then G, then A. So, let's do it with an open here. So C, E, G, A, C, E, G, A. And then just get faster. But the point is, it's not going up like this. I'm not plucking or taking my fingers away from the from the strings, because I have to do a follow through or follow up. It has to kind of stay there. That's the one thing that I've noticed about some people doing finger picking patterns is not using the pinky, so to make sure that their position is locked, and they're kind of plucking up like so. So instead of plucking off your string, pluck up to the next string instead, so that it keeps it kind of steady or close to the next string. If you can't do a rest stroke up with your pointer finger, you can just do a pluck or free stroke, as we call it, up, because it's it's not touching anything, it's not resting on anything, it's free, but keep it close to the fretboard as possible. So let's try that once again with the C chord. Do into out picking. Ready? C, E, G, A, C, E, G, A. Let's try to do this with quarter notes. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's go F chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Back to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay consistent. G. Back to C. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's try to do eighth notes. Ready? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and F. 2 and 3 and 4 and G. C. All right, so that's how you want to practice your finger picking patterns. You want to add some rhythms in there so that you're practicing your rhythm at the same time. So you're not only practicing your finger picking pattern, but you're also working on your rhythm. So you want to hit two birds at the same time, and when you practice that, it's a lot more efficient. Okay, so practicing more efficiently.
Can you can you go over that same pattern, but can you turn to the cameras so they can see like your? Yeah. I thought that might be like helpful. Like
okay. So 1, 2, ready, C. Quarter notes. Sorry, I used pointed finger. I used more than one. Oh, 2. I'm just kind of sticking closer to the strings. Let's get faster. All right. Now, yeah, I kind of jumped the gun there. Let's use more fingers. So just like how we did with the, with the top to bottom, we're going to use 3 fingers again. So thumb, once again, on the G and C, pointer finger on the E, middle finger on the A. Okay? So let's do C, F, and G. It goes like this. Alright, so another advantage that this pinky finger, doing that anchoring down on your fretboard is it kind of lets it lets you keep your fingers there. So what I was saying, when you're plucking up like so, it's going to be it's not going to be possible if you lock your pinky finger down. Because even if you want to take it out, it's not going to go any further than that. Okay, so keep your fingers close by. Any questions? Mm-hmm. So we already kind of gone over the pros and cons of using more than 3 fingers. Like I said, I only really like to use these 3 for those of you who have like low G ukuleles. 4 fingers might be a good thing because you might want to play that bass, or you might want to play all 4 strings at the same time. But pretty much never 5 fingers, because that'd be kind of weird. Using 5 fingers on 4 strings is kind of weird. But for the most part, use these 3 fingers, okay? And I like to use these 3, particularly my pointer finger on either the E and A, or my pointer finger on E, middle finger on A, just like how we've been doing so in the past. So I encourage you folks to to come up with some finger picking pattern. So we did the top to bottom. You can also do bottom to top. So you can do A, E, G, C. Instead of into out, you can do out to in. So A, G, E, C instead of C, E, G, A. It's basically backwards. Or you can link them both together. You can do into out, C, E, G, A, and then A, G, E, C. So it'll sound like this. So when you hear, like really nice picking, it's basically just a bunch of chords, and then you can finger pick those chords, and it'll sound nice and lovely. It almost sounds like a piano, because what we are playing is we are playing arpeggios, okay? What an arpeggio is, it's what spells a chord. So this chord right here, so la 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 la. You probably heard that before. That's what's called an arpeggio, because this is the chord and we're spelling out the notes in that chord. C, E, G, C, G, E, C. So finger picking is a way for us to do arpeggios with our ukulele. So just like pianos, you hear that kind of arpeggio. A famous one is like Moonlight Sonata. Ding 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 ding. That's what we're doing with our ukulele. So take the chords that you've learned, and create your own little sonata, your own little daytime sonata maybe, or afternoon sonata, or 11 o'clock sonata, whatever you want to make. It's totally possible now, because just with four lessons here in Ukulele on the Ground, you can pretty much write your own song. Okay, so use the chords that you've learned, and use the finger picking, strum it if you want. But at this point, you now have enough to at least go to our beginner lessons on Ukulele on the Ground and play or strum the majority of it. As long as you learn how to play that chord, you can pretty much strum that chord. You can do rolls, and you can do like the hand moving but not playing. All of that, from here on out, you can go to our song selection and pick a song that you like. Okay, and just do the strumming. You don't have to do the picking, just strumming, and you can play that song.
I think there's a lot of people on a lot of members who are like at that stage where they're strumming and they got chords down, and they want to transition into finger picking, and that's a good way to do it, right? Is you take one pattern, like you take into out, and then you play the same chords that you would strumming for a song.
But just pick notes.
Picking it instead, and you can do it to the play along too. So
that's a that's a preview of what we're going to be doing next week. So next week we're going to be focusing on playing with others. So at this point you can pretty much play your ukulele, play some chords, and and look up a chord sheet and just play your ukulele or play that song. But playing with others and locking up that rhythm, that's kind of what we're going to be covering next week, and how to do different parts, one person strumming, one person finger picking, so on and so forth. Any questions on Into Out?
Jack just said that they like to practice Into Out like while watching TV and trying to play it as softly as they can.
That's a great idea. Or just play your uke while watching TV, or while doing whatever, while waiting for the rice to cook. That's what I do. Like I put on a pot of rice in the rice cooker, and I'm just kind of like, I guess I'll play my uke for half an hour, because that's how long it takes. Or if I'm trying to simmer something, it's all cooking. I like to eat a lot of food. Whenever I'm like waiting for food, I like to strum my ukulele. But pretty much any time.
Isn't there like a rolling practice that you do like without your ukulele?
Yes. Yes. So I could just pretend this is like my hip. I just like to place my fingers on my hip like so, and just like how we did with the thumb, and I just like to release each finger. So the resistance coming from my thigh or my leg is going to help me strengthen up my fingers.
So like that's
working
like
out.
Yeah, that's something that you can do even without an ukulele, like just watching TV or whatever too. So
cool. Any other questions?
Well, one of the good things about the into out technique is that you can pretty much substitute it for like your down up, because you are going down with the thumb, up with the pointer, down with the thumb, up with whatever pointer.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So it's like you can
mimic
pretty much do that same motion, but you're doing it with individual strings instead of strumming.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, you can lock it up. So if you have a kind of like made up strumming pattern like how we did last week, so if you do down, down, up, down, up, down, up, so you can just do down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, like, so you can create your own finger picking pattern from there.
Based off of what the strumming pattern that you already know.
Yeah, down, down, up, down, up, down.
Because
up,
the motion is the same, where you're going down with the thumb and then up with your other fingers. So.
Yes, experiment with that. All right, let's move on here. So far, we covered finger picking, we covered rolls. Now let's give you a couple of new chords to play around with so that you can practice those rolls and those finger picking to some new chords. You're like, it's been a week, Aldrin. Give us some new stuff to work with. Yes! These are 2 new chords for you folks. So here we go. First off is a G7 chord, middle finger C string 2nd fret, pointer finger E string 1st fret, ring finger A string 2nd fret. That's your G7. And C7 is just like your A string 1st fret. Just like your C chord, just that one finger kind of chord, but this time it's on the 1st fret instead of 3rd fret. So you learned your major chords. We gave you some minor chords. Now we're going to give you some 7th chords. So 7th chords can sometimes be substituted for the regular chord. Okay? So for example, I can substitute that G7 for the G if I were to do C, F, G, and C. So I can do C, F, G7 to C. Okay, and oftentimes, oftentimes it doesn't. Well, it has to be part of the scale, but let's not worry about that right now. Let's just look at it as C, F, G7, and back to C. So that C7 we can use as a transition chord to go to our F. So instead of just going C to F, well, let's take a look at here. We're gonna go C, and you go C7, then to F. Listen to how it sounds. It's almost as if that C7 leads us over to the next chord. So this is how you're going to use those 2 new chords that I gave you. The G7, you're going to substitute for your G. C7, and you're not going to be substituting it for your C, but you're going to be using it to get to your F. So instead of going, you can do, okay, versus. You're kind of using that C7, and I like to use the C7, and I wanted to teach you guys this because that transition is not that bad, because you can actually take that ring finger and just slide it down if you want. Okay, or if you can use your ring finger and pointer finger if you want to do that, the transition is nice and simple. Okay, so a couple of chord progressions that I want you guys to do is C, A minor, F, G7, C, A minor, F, G7. And the other chord progression that I want you guys to practice is C, C7, F, G7. Okay, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, back. Okay, the next one is C, A minor, F, and G7. So I want you to take those 2 chord patterns, make videos, and post it on the UU Plus forums. Yes.
Oh yeah. So the next slide is like those old chords that we learned the weeks before.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
And then those 2 new chords should work with those chords, like pretty much
they're in the
all
same
the time.
key. Yeah, they're in the same
So,
key.
like if they want to play around with any of those chords, they can, right? Like just and adding in those 2 new chords. Yeah.
Okay, so as far as your homework goes, make a video on finger picking and rolls, and I want you guys to do kind of strum, rolls, into finger picking. So I want you to do strum first, then add your rolls, and then go into finger picking. I want you to practice that transition. It doesn't have to be that smooth yet, but I just kind of want you guys to feel that, like, going from this position and then moving down to your finger picking pattern, and then moving back up to do your strum. So So just getting that transition from strumming to finger picking. You can do it in rhythm, but if it's a little bit too difficult, don't worry about it. As long as you're trying, and as long as you're trying to get it into rhythm, my main focus for you is to get this kind of movement from this, so that you can play over the sound hole, to this, so that you can play over here. Okay, so also I want you guys to combine the new chords with the old chords, just like how we did, and I want you guys to post them on the UU Plus forums, and you'll receive the student evaluation for the week. Excuse me. And that's your homework for right hand technique. So we focus a lot on our right hand this time. We did learn some new chords with our left hand, but for the most part, we basically covered right hand techniques. We did some rolls, we did some finger picking, the top to bottom. We did some into outs. We showed you guys the rhythm patterns and stuff for finger picking. So I want you folks to take that and do this homework right here, so that it just takes everything that you've learned today and makes it stick to your brain. Yeah.
Yeah. They can. Last week you said like you might want to try doing 70 BPM.
Yeah.
Like they can do the same thing too.
Yeah, same practice. So if you want to keep with the steady rhythm kind of practice, use a metronome. I mean, I'm always going to be preaching the use of a metronome, because that's just the best way to keep you in time.
When were we gonna get? This is a side note, but when were we gonna get one of those like ticky metronomes?
I was gonna get one for Christmas, but I ended up not getting one for myself for Christmas. I
We
ended
should
up getting something else instead.
Well, we should get one just for the office.
We should.
Yeah, for the lessons. So.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I do like I do like the look of like the old school like metronomes that just kind of go back and forth. I like a nice wooden one. It'd be nice. My mother-in-law has one over her piano, and I just like to play with it. Play the C chord on beats, just like how I would practice my ukulele when I was starting out. But that's that's irrelevant. But so do the homework. But next week, let me give you guys a little preview of what's going on for next week. So next week we're going to be working on jamming with other people. We want to lock rhythm. Locking up the rhythm with whoever we're playing with. Doesn't matter if it's one other person or 50 other people. We want to get the rhythm locked up. Okay, we want to be playing together on time. We want to find the right tempo. So we're gonna bring back that awesome little metronome next week. We're gonna delegate the parts. So one person, we're gonna split things into parts. All right. So one person can be strumming, one person can be doing finger picking, and we want to be doing something different. We want to play something different. Two people playing the same chords, the same strum is going to sound monotonous, and you're going to see it next week. We're also going to be, like I said, finger picking and strumming together, and we're just going to try to have some fun with it. All right. So have fun with playing parts. Maybe we'll do one, and then we'll switch off the parts, and we're just going to try to have some fun, because at this point we know how to play our ukuleles. We're just going to be adding some chords, and we're going to be adding some techniques for you guys to to learn, and just kind of take that playing to the next level, just like how we do here on Ukulele. Oh, on Ukulele Underground. But what happened?
My battery's
the battery is running low for this. But that's pretty much all that we have left here on Ukulele Underground University 101. I'm trying to find the. Oh, okay, there it is. Oh, there it is. So. That's it for us here at Ukulele Underground 101 week number 4. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys on week 5. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, but we're live every Thursday. Pretty much every Thursday we're here. Every Thursday from here on out, we're going to be live on Ukulele Underground on YouTube or wherever we stream. Where do we stream this? On YouTube?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's going to be live on YouTube. So please join us. It's 1 p.m. every Thursday, Hawaii Standard Time, for our Ukulele 101 week number 5 is going to be next week, and so on and so forth. Also, stay tuned if you're part of Ukulele Underground Plus. We're going to be doing Thursday live lessons over on at 2:30. So 2:30, we're going to be doing Thursday live lessons, and we're going to be addressing any and all of your questions that you guys may have for us. We also get some student evaluations videos that's sent over on the UU Plus forums that we're going to be going over. But that's, it's a nice little hand in hand with stuff that we learned today. So we're pretty much going to go over the stuff that we did today. We're going to go more in depth into it, and we'll open that up for discussion. All right. So tune in for our Thursday live lessons at 2:30 if you're part of UU Plus. But I will see you folks next time. Have a great one. If you guys enjoyed the lesson, tune in next time. Aloha.